Welcome to the Final Whistle with Coach Stevie G. Tonight we've got a husband and wife duo who are always first to pay up and always first to lock in their tips. Greg's still buzzing over King Gutho moving to the Dragons, while Alison still walking taller than ever after the Tigers handed the Eels a reality check last week. It's great to have them in the comp. It's even better to have them here on the Final Whistle. Greg and Ali, welcome to the show. How are you going?
Hi, how you going?
Thank you.
Hang on, Steve, just hang on a minute, mate, please.
We've got to...
We've just got to get rid of that,
It's better.
Anyway, that's better. Yeah.
I must admit, I do prefer a Dragon than a Tiger at the moment, just purely because of King Gutho. It's he broke my heart when he didn't leave. I suppose he was kicked out, but it did hurt the heartstrings just a little bit.
Happy to have you.
Now, I'm really looking forward to this chat because I'm probably going to learn as much as what everybody else. But before we kick things off, I believe, Ali, was it your birthday last week?
Oh, yes, it was.
Facebook is brilliant for that type of thing. Happy birthday. You got my present, didn't you?
No, must have got lost in the mail. So many did.
No, I sent you a present last week. It was the West Tigers. I allowed them. I told the boys. I said, let the West Tigers beat the Parramatta Eels.
It was a victory. Well, that was an amazing present. Better than diamonds.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you received the present that I've got. Now, the family makeup, I know it's both yourself. Mitch is also part of the family. He's your son. Is there anybody else that I don't know in the family? Like, I just wanted to make sure, is there another family member or just Mitch? You've only got one child?
We've got a daughter. It's complicated. So we've got a daughter, Erin. She's 24 and she lives in Walker.
Oh, excellent.
Greg also has two older kids from his first marriage. And Mitch and Erin are mine from my first marriage. But they're just as much Greg's.
Yeah, very good. Well, they're not interested in footy? We've got to get them on board.
Erin, no.
No. More to no.
I wasn't 100% sure, but I obviously knew about Mitch, and I always remember Mitch because of who he goes for, and that they're the team that I despise. So I always remember about Mitch, and obviously I've seen him at cricket as well. But I've got a question here. What does a typical football night look like in your household? Obviously, especially when it comes to like round 9. So when the Tigers are versing the Dragons or they're versing Melbourne, whatever the mix-up might be, what does a typical night look like in your household?
If it's a Friday night, we're both trying to stay awake past half time. That's usually our mission. But it's, on the lounge.
Barbecue. So we try to get to the game, West Tigers and George live. We don't go to many, but we try to go to those ones. We just listen to Mitchell put crap on me all day, and I just let him do it because I don't want to be putting garbage on him and then all of a sudden we lose. So I just let him go and go and go. But, that's the kind of day we have. A couple of drinks. Yeah,
We've had the odd game where if I'm not working, Greg will come home and the whole house will be done in Tigers balloons and streamers but then we usually get smashed. So it's, then you get the next couple of days.
Yep. Do you watch other games or you just watch your team?
No, we try to. We'll start watching tonight's game. We watch tomorrow night's couple. Saturday we try to. We quite often watch the 3 on a Saturday. And then if we're not doing anything the Sunday, we watch one. Yeah. You think the tipping would be better considering I'm watching a lot of games, but it's not.
Well, we spoke about that just before we went live, that we're really not a panel of experts, the 3 of us. Especially where we're ranked at the moment. We're all 70. So there should be no advice being given about footy tips tonight. Everybody else has got us well and truly covered. Now, listen, Mitch going for the Storm, how did it come about? How did you allow, as mum and dad, how do you allow?
We wanted to get you back on this one because his last name is Storm.
He doesn't go
for the Storm. He's
a Tiger
supporter.
Oh, no. The whole time.
We've just been letting you go on with it for years and years and years.
I can't believe it. Do you know how much he's usually the first person I think of when it comes to the Storm in this tipping comp, and I've always managed to poked the bear and always managed to give him a little bit of shit. All this time, he hasn't even been going for the Storm.
He'll be relieved because he's watching this live.
Every time we say something, he goes, "I don't go for Storm."
Because
here he comes. Actually,
I'm gonna have to do an official apology to young Mitch. I can't believe. I mean, obviously, it's pretty easy to assume that, but there you go. West Tigers, though. I mean, is that any better than the Melbourne Storm? I think they are. I do think West Tigers are better than Melbourne Storm. You can't get any lower than the Melbourne Storm.
Wow, that's
a big call.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah.
So I've got it down here, and we've met through cricket. So obviously through my brother, and back in the cricket days. So you retired from cricket last year. Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah. This year was my first year I didn't play. Yep.
So what does the weekends look like for yourself and for the family now that you've got your Saturdays and Sundays back from running around?
I took up lawn bowls, so I play lawn bowls. This time of the year it's pennants, so it's about 10 or 12 weeks. Instead of Alison sitting on the side of a cricket field in 40-degree heat watching, which she did most weeks, she now sits in the club with a glass of gin and tonic and a book and reads, and has a look at bowls every now and then. But once pennants is over, you don't have to play every weekend, so we get our weekends back.
Were you involved Were you involved in the club outside of just playing cricket? Like, were you a part of the
we both were for a time.
So.
I was the registrar and the secretary, and
Greg So the volunteering component to it really took up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Not just the playing on the weekends, but during the week and
with
all the different
That was good.
And we had weekends where Mitchell would play 3 different games. So he'd be Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and all day Sunday. So it was... Okay.
Did he play rep or anything like that? Like, did he play?
No.
I wasn't sure.
No, thank God.
Was there any milestones achieved on the cricket pitch? For cricket, like, did you get a hat trick, 50s, 100s, or any of those typical?
Look, I'm sure your brother will admit to this. I was absolutely hopeless. I think I scored about 62 runs in 10 years. I just love being around the team and the guys. Look, probably the biggest achievement was we made the 1920 grand final. Not 1920, but the 2019-20 grand final. And after coming fourth, beat the team that hadn't lost a game all year in the semis.
Right.
And COVID come along, and they decided that we didn't stand far enough apart, so they canned the grand final.
In what position were you on the field? I had you behind the stumps, but were you behind the stumps? No. No. I changed quite often when I couldn't get down. The bowler would change me. Quite often, your brother would change me, actually. Yeah. Now, you were the captain, though, weren't you? Because I remember, I'm pretty sure when I only played, I was only a fill-in, and I was just sort of, making the numbers up when you were short. But my memories was that you were the captain. Yeah.
Just organised. I just organised the team. I wasn't real. It was just good to be around a bunch of guys, the fathers and their sons, and Phil, and then you had Ali involved, and it was a good time. I wasn't a real good captain either, like technical wise.
Well, when I eventually get Phil on here, I'll ask him that question and let him tell me what he thinks. But now, I've just thought of it. Not only did I muck up Mitch with who he goes for, but I remember, I think it was a couple of years ago, I actually mucked up your name, Ali, because I thought Ali was Brett's daughter, Ali.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember a couple of years ago? I for some reason, when I saw Ali in the competition, I just thought it was Brett's daughter that was in the competition, not realising that it was, Anyway, there you go. So I've got your whole family mixed up completely in this tipping competition, but I'm glad we straightened things out at the moment. So a holiday, I've got here. What does a typical holiday look like for you guys? Do you guys go on overseas trips or cruises or caravanning, or like what does the holiday look like for you guys?
Cruises.
Cruise.
Yeah.
So what are some of the destinations you've been to? You've been on a cruise recently?
The last one was New Zealand, but we typically go to the South Islands. We could go all the time. We just love cruising. Being, it's a good holiday.
What about cruises that you like though? I mean, I love cruises.
You do nothing. You don't have to cook. You can either do a lot or you can do nothing. I think the last one, it's the only time I ever read a book.
Yep.
So I find it very relaxing. Yeah.
Do you get involved in all the the trivia and all the different games and activities on the cruise?
We
wander in and out of things and have a go.
Yeah, the sports trivia.
Yeah, and you got the bingo hall in the main room sometimes.
Oh bingo.
Yeah. We go and watch people sing karaoke. We don't participate ourselves, but it's quite good.
I must admit, I have picked up the microphone. I do enjoy the odd song, and I only got into it because of my brother, as you probably
yes, we know.
But the difference between me and Phil is I know I can't sing, and I just get there and have a bit of fun with it. Where Phil thinks he's getting paid to be there, so it's definitely a different experience when I get the microphone to what Phil does.
Yeah.
All right. What else have I got here? So, do you go to many? Yeah, we've already covered all that. Do you go to many games, or do you watch it out of the comfort of your lounge room? So you've covered off that question. So, who are your current and past favourite players for both of you?
For me, past would be Andrew Leeds.
Okay.
The Magpies fullback.
Yep.
And current.
I don't know who that is actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was the only decent player on the Magpies team for quite some time. He was the fullback. Amazing kicker.
Was that in the 80s?
Probably 90s.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Did he play for Parramatta?
Maybe.
As fullback.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
he
sure
might
he
have
did.
played for you as well.
Right. Okay.
And currently it's probably Appy Coruscant.
Oh yeah. Okay. Excellent.
At the moment, I'm going to see if Andrew Leeds played.
Mine was probably Steve Morris.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of him back in the 80s. And the current player I do enjoy watching is they're a couple of them, but they're from Penrith, which is Isaiah Yeo and Liam Martin.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leedsy played for you, and sorry, it was late 80s. 14 tests for Australia.
Wow.
And played for Parramatta and Penrith as well.
I thought you'd know that, Steve, being a Paris supporter. But anyway, we'll get to that later.
I don't know if you watched last week's one with Lisa, but we covered off the fact that I am terrible with trivia, my memory. But typically when someone tells me the answer, it sort of triggers a thought, and then I remember, the answer. But I must admit, I haven't heard, and it's embarrassing to say because I'm sure I'll get plenty of shit off my mates now, but I haven't heard of that guy. So that was past players. Did you cover off current players? I'm just sort of clicking through the comments, so I might have missed it. But your current players?
Mine was Appy.
Yeah, and mine was I'd say Liam Martin, Penrith. Yeah.
Excellent. So what's your best footy memory as a fan?
2005.
Yeah. Yep. Very understandable.
Yeah, the grand final.
I will go back to 82.
Right.
Where I was about 13, and my father got me into we grew up in Wollongong, so we were going to the Illawarra games down there, and he got me into the St George dressing room. I met Craig Young for the first time.
Wow.
That's probably the biggest sticks in my memory.
That's something that I've said to Jack, that I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I don't know if I necessarily want to go into the dressing room before or after the game, but I'd love to be the fly on the wall just to hear how the coach communicates and how he talks to the players and how he motivates and critiques. I'd love to be a fly on the wall to hear that, but to get that dressing room experience, that would be second to none. I know my sister has. She's got photos down in the dressing room after the game celebrating. Yeah. But that would be an experience. Mine's I've got on here 2009 stands out, the Jarryd Hayne era. So when Parramatta went on that long run in 2009, and Jarryd Hayne was, going through his freak moments, and I think actually, I wrote it down. I thought there was a reason why I wrote that down, because I remember going to Cogra in the round 20 would have been 25. Was it about 25 rounds back then? The last round of the season against the Dragons, Parramatta, I think we got tailed up by you guys in the last game of the season. Then we played you in the first game of the semis and flipped it around completely and knocked you guys out, I think, in the semi-finals in 2009. Then we went on that run to the grand final and got smashed again. But yeah, 2009 with the Jared Hayne, the Hayne plane doing his thing was definitely a footy memory that I remember as a fan. But the biggest heartbreak, what will be the biggest heartbreak for you guys with footy?
Being a West Tigers supporter.
Just generally, just in general.
As I was a Magpies supporter before and used to sit up on the hill and watch the score beat the clock.
Right.
And once it got, it was sad.
Yeah. We were talking before off screen, and last weekend I was in the fetal position for a good couple of hours after that game. When I eventually got home from the game, I was just demoralised, and I've got a few mates that are Tiger supporters, and they all told me to get a cup of cement and harden up, but it was hard to experience. So enduring the years of heartache that you guys have, I'm starting to feel the pain.
You get used to it after a while. It sort of doesn't hurt as much, I think.
What about yourself, Greg?
Probably the 99 grand final.
Okay.
Against Melbourne when we were so far ahead and we let it go. That was pretty.
Were you at the game, or what was the setting?
Well, the funny story was that was in my first marriage. I either had a choice of either going and watching it or going to Jimmy Barnes the night before. So I went to Jimmy Barnes the night before and then had a really bad hangover the next day and two screaming 2- and 4-year-olds running around the house, and I've got a headache trying to watch the football. That's
definitely a good lead-in. Going from Jimmy Barnes straight into the footy with screaming kids. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, David sounded like him actually.
We got young Mitch online. Well, he's not young Mitch anymore, isn't he? He's old. He's as old as Indiana. Is he as old as Indiana?
Yeah, he's 21 this year.
Yeah, so he's not young anymore. I haven't seen him in years. But so yes, I finally got your name right, Mitch, as in your last name is Storm. And I do sincerely apologise, but from now on, I will always remember you as the guy that goes for the Melbourne Storm just quietly, even though I know you are a Tigers supporter. All right, what else have we got here? It'd be neglectful. I've got here. It'd be neglectful not to take this opportunity to throw my brother under the bus. What's a standout story about Phil that comes directly to mind now? I would not accept nothing because I reckon.
No, I've got one.
Plenty.
I've got a pearl. I've got a pearler for you.
There's dozens. I'm sure there's dozens.
I met Phil first 10 years ago in the cricket club, and then he asked me to be on the committee, and that's how we joined our friendship. Then he asked me to play in a cricket team. So he does a lot for the club, still does. I'm not going to pump his tyres up because he doesn't that on himself enough. But however, one particular game, and I was captain on this one. Phil wasn't the captain, but we got out for 65 against Tarmore at Picton Sports Ground, thanks to Phil's lousy effort of 4. But he contributed to the low score, and I decided not to bowl him that day. And he decided to storm off the field and throw his toys out of the cot, and hence the good captaincy that year, because it was the same year we got to the grand final.
Yeah, right.
But all in all, he's a good guy. I do like him, but yeah, he can spit the dummy sometimes. That's the only time I've ever seen it.
I was hoping for something a bit more juicy than that, but.
Going back to your karaoke comment with Phil earlier, we couldn't get him to go home from our 50th because he was out the back and he just kept singing and singing and singing, and it was
Wouldn't hand over the microphone.
No,
and wouldn't go home.
No, that was a nice 3 o'clock morning. It was good. Yeah,
they're not usually good nights until they finish at 3 o'clock. So.
Yeah.
Well, I've got plenty of stories, and I'm not going to share them online, but I'll definitely share them offline. But yeah, he does definitely draw plenty of attention when we're out and about. He's always a bit of good fun. Now, my lovely wife, the assistant coach Rebecca, has put out a great question on the chat. I don't know. Can you see the question on
Yeah,
there?
we can. Yep.
So, what do you guys do for work, and what are your hobbies outside? And I can't see the rest of that question. What are your hobbies outside of footy?
I'm an assistant principal at a primary school.
Mm-hmm.
And my hobby, I'm a complete nerd, and I like to collect university degrees.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's why you and Karen probably get along so well. Yeah. Very good, excellent. Yeah, wow. I didn't realise. So, an assistant principal at, did you say primary school?
Primary school, Escol Park. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Big shout out to all the kids. I'm sure everyone's watching.
Oh, they're all watching.
Yeah, they're all watching. the 6 views that we will get for the video, but excellent. And what about yourself, Greg? What do you do for work?
Operations manager for Biosecurity, Department of Agriculture. And hobbies outside, as you know, is lawn bowls. I did actually start playing golf with Brett in Camden RSL Golf Club, but I haven't played since I started bowls because I love bowls that much. So, but,
good.
Yeah, that's it.
What's that? What was your title again? What does that job do? I sort of missed it.
Operations manager, Biosecurity.
Right, and
yeah. So what happens? Anything that comes into the country, we inspect. So anything container and air freight.
Okay. Yeah, very good. That was a good question, assistant coach. I'm going to try to get. I actually was going to get her on this time, but I wasn't sure how having 2 people would work. And I didn't want to overcomplicate my little system that I've got going here. But I want to get Beck on so we can do these interviews together. So that might be something for next week. But good question. I've got here. We're going to move into the tipping talk. So this is a bit more about the footy tipping comp.
Oh, no.
So do you know your best finish in the tipping comp?
Mine was the first year. I did all right. I was actually winning the Dally M's for 2 weeks, so that's my one claim to fame. But yeah,
well, I will acknowledge I quickly tried to whip up some stats at the last minute tonight before we jumped online. And I do have some here, but not as many as what I typically would. So in the main tipping comp, what have I got here? So Greg, in 2022, you came 60th. Alison, your best year was in 2022. You came 47th that year. In 2023, Greg, 83rd, and Ali, 74th. And then do you guys know what you came last year?
Really bad.
I think I was in the 50s, if I remember.
You were 52nd on 125 points, which is not too bad. It's, I think, definitely better than me. But Ali, unfortunately, 82nd last year. So I don't know what happened last year, but you definitely dropped off the Richter scale last year. But in the teams comp, I've got you down. So in 2022, Greg, you were in Team Churchill. They got knocked out in the preliminary finals, so you got through the first qualifiers, and then knocked out the prelims. In 23, you were in Team Lewis and got knocked out in the first week, and Team Davis last year got knocked out in the first week. And Alison, you were Team Gasnier in 2022, knocked out in the first week of the finals. 23, Team Fulton, knocked out in the prelims, and then Team Gasnier last year. You were knocked out in the semi-finals last year with Team Gasnier. But I didn't get a chance to do the Daily M's, but it was interesting that you were suggesting that that you were up and down, or you were in the mix there in the Daily M's, which is the reason why the Daily M's exist. I think it's really good because you only got to have 4 or 5 good rounds out of the 27, and you get some Daily M points, and you put yourself up towards the top. So you could come last like we do, and still have a chance where you're still fighting out for some Daily M points each week. So it's good to see or hear that you were getting some Daily M points. All right. So who's the one person in the comp that you want to beat? Right.
It wouldn't be hard.
Based on those results, I didn't actually look at that, but based on what I just read out, you beat him in 22, you beat him in 23, but you didn't beat him last year. So you're 2 out of 3 in the last 3 years. So you're winning that battle at the moment. What about you, Greg?
Bulldog Brett.
Bulldog Brett. Okay.
Yeah. So competitive, and he's a Bulldog supporter, so I've got to beat him.
Right. Yep. I might have to get him on as well. That's someone that I think would be quite interesting to hear his stories behind the scenes. We probably don't see is Brett online? Do you know if he engages on Facebook and all that sort of stuff?
I'm not sure. Look, I know he gets up pretty early to go to work, so I don't know if he's online or not. Yeah.
Well, I think you guys are the first people not to say Phil. I was really hoping one of you were going to say Phil, because the last 2 weeks, Jason and Lisa both used Phil as the person that they wanted to beat. So there you go. Strategies. Do you have any strategies for your footy?
Yeah, I just put my tips in on Monday morning straight away.
I only asked that question so we know not what to do, so we can just wipe that strategy straight off the list.
Don't think about it.
I've been picking the team with the best hairstyles.
Right. Okay.
Because there's some really bad ones. Newcastle are winning for worst hairstyles.
Okay.
So I don't think that's going to work for me either. So I might have to come up with something else. I tried using my knowledge, but obviously that didn't work last year. So
waking up early Monday morning, putting your tips in, and then selecting them by hairstyles. That would be a combination strategy by both of you.
Yeah.
Very good. Oh goodness. So who's got absolutely no chance in winning the tipping comp?
To win the tipping comp?
Us.
Oh yeah, look, us three. Look at the look at our stats. Look at our pass, right? You mentioned it before. You know?
I have been referred to as a stats man, and it is very embarrassing looking at our numbers. But
we're consistently bad.
I do say to Mitchell when I pay for the tipping comp, I just donated the fees to the winner.
Yeah, donating every year. I'll do the same.
Yeah.
Very good. What have we got? What's Michelle saying here? I just want to bet Greg now because he's a Dragon supporter. I don't know what are we betting? Who's going to finish on top?
Beat him. You need to read primary school writing.
Oh, right, the quick typing.
Yeah. She's against Dragon supporters, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know of this Dragons issue that she might have. Well, that probably wraps up most of the questions. Now we have a rapid fire round where we've got a list of 10 questions that I've asked the other two guys that we've had. We won't call it a rapid fire because there's both of you, and I would like to hear answers from both. So take your time. But here's a quick 10 questions before we wrap things up to get ready for Thursday Night Footy. The greatest NRL player of all time.
You go first. I've got one. Wally Lewis is probably my best, the player I reckon I've seen him play.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Wally.
Yeah.
Get some own ideas.
No, I'm copying.
Tiger supporters.
Do you guys ever copy each other's tips? Like, do you have a conversation where you say, who you
never.
Pick? Never?
Mine's usually done on the train at about 5 o'clock on a Monday morning.
And I did mine in the lunch break at work today. So.
Yeah. No, I do rate Wally, even though he's a Queenslander, and you guys aren't. You're not Queensland supporters, are you?
No, Stephen, come on.
No.
Thanks God. I actually felt a little bit dirty asking that question. I had a little bad taste in my mouth when I said it. But
that's as bad as being a dirty Tooheys new drinker like Phil, isn't it? Really?
Did you see the video? I think it was just released recently of Andrew Johns in the change room with the 4X goal.
Yeah.
Because he's always said that he would never touch 4X, and he always shits on him because Peter knew it. And he's in the change room and he's tried to hide it behind the screen so no one could see it because the camera came around on him, and he got called out, and it got funny. He was filthy. All right, best current player in the NRL.
Look, I'm going to have to say Nathan Cleary. I just think, he's got everything at the moment. Yeah, and look, he could have he's proven it the last 3 or 4 years, and he started all right this year, but that could change. He could have a bad back end of the season. But Nathan Cleary for me.
I was going to
Yep.
say Nathan Cleary, but he jumped in first. Have you noticed there's something going on with his chin, though?
What, Cleary? Yeah, he looks like
Yeah.
Roger Ranjit.
Yeah, but you have a look. It's like a little ski jump on the bottom of it. This year.
Yeah,
Check it out next time.
Ski.
he's a bit strange. It looks like you've got a fan, Ali, my lovely wife. She thinks you're fantastic by the looks of it. You guys have met before, I think, a couple of times.
I'm a fan too of Ali.
I hope so. All right, the biggest grub in the game.
Reed Marnie.
Yep.
Annoys me to tears.
I 100% agree with that.
He's the one I want to punch in the face. Yes.
Yep. Who's the who was a past Bulldogs player that was the same? Anyway,
Michael Ennis.
Yes, Ennis. That was the other one that comes to mind. But current player, I totally agree with you, Greg. Ali, you got someone else that
I can't think of one.
Is there anyone that you don't like though? Maybe not a grub, but is there a player that turns rubs you the wrong way, so to speak?
You don't like Lockie Galvin, do you?
I do like Lockie Galvin. He really doesn't like the Dragons.
What's the team in the comp then? What's the team?
Leilua.
Leilua.
Yeah.
Okay. What's he done? How's he hurt you?
He
hasn't got his hairstyle is not cool enough.
And his hairstyle is awful. Just yeah.
All right. The one rule in the comp that you would change instantly if you could.
I would, if you send someone off for a HIA, then you need to go off as well.
Yep. I think they sort of played with that rule a little bit, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it is frustrating, especially when they were milking it a little while ago.
Yeah, it just puts your team at such a disadvantage.
I think if you do a deliberate act and take that player has to not play any part of the game anymore, I think that player should go off.
Yeah.
Because the team's disadvantaged.
And I thought that's actually what the rule is, but again, don't quote me on that. But yeah, that is a frustration, definitely a frustration in there. What about yourself?
Mine's more of the administration rule of contracts, that a player shouldn't be allowed to break a contract.
Okay, so once you're locked in for the term, you've locked in.
Perfect one is the Dragons player this week, because he didn't like what something was said. And I don't think you should be allowed to break a contract, no. It's too much of it. Too much of it.
There should probably be some sort of mercy rule as well. Like
I love it that you just. I'm going to clip that. A Tiger supporter suggesting the rule change should be a mercy rule. That is so good. That is very good. Golden point or extra time?
Golden point.
Extra time for me.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate? What do you like about one over the other? Like
Golden point, I just think, add some excitement to the end of the game.
Yep.
I'd just like to see an extra, 10 minutes or 20 minutes of football and see, usually the team that's a bit fitter and will end up winning.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Now, I hope you guys have got your tips in, because I have to double check to make sure I have. But usually and that's probably why you're always first to get your tips in and be financial, because you do it on Monday. But best bet of the round.
Tigers to beat the Dolphins.
Okay.
Dragons to win the bye.
Yeah.
I think Melbourne to beat Penrith tonight, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I think they're. I think that's a good bet too. They are, from memory, favourites, but I can't bring myself to pick Melbourne. But I can't remember who I picked. But anything to do with Melbourne is a no-go for me. Who wins the premiership in 2025?
Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Steve, but I'm a bit towards Melbourne too at the moment.
Yeah.
And I know it's a bit early. It's round 3. I just know that probably won't be St George.
Yeah, I think we're safe with Parramatta as well. I don't know. I mean, obviously Melbourne and Penrith are the two standouts. It is too early to tell, but I hope someone else really challenged for the title. There's always someone that sort of surprises, that makes the 8 that no one gave a chance. Who do you think that team is? Do you think the Dragons are a chance to make the 8, or is there another team?
Look, they might make the 8. They maybe make that. Look, it all depends on the team and the injuries. Teams and injuries. If you've got, sorry about the puppies there. If Melbourne could end up with a lot of injuries towards the back end and not go no further because they just don't have the cattle. So I think it's the team that can hold the players on the field. And
I think maybe Canberra as a smoky.
No, not Ricky Stewart. No.
Yeah, I can't go with Stinky either. Now we've got Raymond Jones. Ray's a fanatical Tigers supporter as well.
Great man.
He's picking the Tigers as the best pick. And when he saw that you were on, Ali, with your name, his first comment was that she must be a lovely person, purely based on the display name. So good to see you on, Ray. Who gets a wooden spoon?
Parramatta.
I don't know. How do you end this stream? I don't know what button do I press?
Look,
It's someone else's turn.
My
draw's too full.
It's going to be close, and I'm going to say Parramatta just to give it up to Michelle because she's given me absolute stick. But I'll tell you what, the one that could get it is the Cowboys.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, we're only going off 3 games, but
you have a look at their team and their cattle, and I don't think they've got any. Yeah, I think Cowboys will go close to getting the wooden spoon. And it's a shame because I'd like to see the 4 wooden spoons on Luluai's other hand instead of his premiership. That'd be good.
Yep. Who wins our tipping comp in 2025?
Not me.
Someone who hasn't won it.
Okay.
No, Mitchell's yelling me from the room, not you.
How's Mitchell? Do you know how he goes in the footy tipping?
Yeah,
and I should. What's that?
He's rude. He's not good at it.
Yeah,
he doesn't. Actually, I think it was last year. He was up towards the top for a few weeks.
He was doing all right, and there was one a couple of years ago. I think Mitch and I both got 2 perfect rounds in a row.
Okay.
I don't know. Not Bulldog Brett. No.
No, he's usually midfield.
No.
I'll let you sit on that and throw when I post it on the Facebook, throw your comment underneath the video. Go through some of the leaderboards and pick a name out. We've got Lisa picking herself. She thinks she's going to win it. Although I think she is going quite well at the moment, off the top of my head. But there's no way, Lisa, you're winning the footy tipping comp. You can't be as good as Beck. Michelle says it won't be Parramatta, it'll be the Dragons. This is for the spoon.
There she is.
Yeah. But I actually thought the Dragons played extremely well. I think you guys got a good mix. Obviously, you got some missing ingredients, but I like what Gutho's bringing to the Dragons. And it's not just attacking, but I know a lot of people online have been critical of the Dragons' performances, but I think you guys are doing all right, and I don't see at the bottom of the ladder, that's for sure.
I'd like to see him kick out Kyle Flanagan, put Gutho at 5'8". That'd make me happy.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, that'd be interesting. And the final question before we wrap things up, because I can see in the TV screen behind me the footy highlights are rolling, although we haven't started yet. If you hosted a barbecue and you had to invite 3 people, who would they be?
One would be my wife. That is just a given.
That's so I'll clean up afterwards, I'd say.
That's important.
And I would probably like to invite Jason Day, the golfer. Yeah. And probably Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah, wow.
Some stories, you know.
Some entertainment.
Yeah, okay. Good mix. I did see Jason Day play live. And he seemed like I was only following him around the 18 holes on a tournament, but he seemed like he had a bit of a personality. He didn't seem like didn't he wasn't quiet or dry. He was pretty engaging. So yeah, I reckon he'd be good fun having a barbecue. What about yourself, Alison? Who would you bring?
I'd probably have Jamie Oliver, so he can cook.
Yeah.
Can I bring someone back from the dead?
Yeah, anyone.
Oh yeah, I'm bringing Meatloaf back.
Okay. Yeah, right. So you can sing at the next grand final.
Oh no, Meatloaf from before that, because that was
Okay.
horrendous. We went to the concert just after that and walked out, so it was
He was. Well, I think I was at the grand final that year. That was horrendous.
It's terrible, wasn't it? That
So
concert.
who's your third?
I'd like to bring my grandfather back, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's assuming that Greg, although he's not one of the three, I'm sure he's going to be there. What would we be cooking on the barbecue if we were hosting a barbecue? What's the go-to platter at your place?
I reckon a pork on the spit that we got, the rotisserie.
Yep.
Pork rolls, actually. Yeah.
Some marinated chicken thighs,
Yeah.
some steaks.
Yeah. What do we get? A bit of gravy. What do we do with the
Bit of apple sauce,
Yeah.
gravy. Yeah.
bit of extras?
Crunchy bread rolls.
Yeah.
I like the sound of it. And karaoke as well without Phil being. Although if you got Meatloaf at your
I got
barbecue
Meatloaf, you'll sing.
and Jimmy Barnes, that's
That'll
going to
be a
be
good.
yeah. I'd hate to be
Neighbours
your
and lovers.
I'm about to say I'd hate to be your neighbours. Well, thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing a little bit about what goes on behind the screen at your place, pulling back the curtain. I've really enjoyed the chat and look forward to seeing the banter online. Thank you again for being in the tipping comp. So I know you've been, I think at least, how long have you guys been in the tipping comp for?
Four or 5 years. Yeah.
I would have thought at least 4 or 5 years. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it and look forward to you guys continuing to be involved. And again, I'm just going to repeat myself one more time. I do apologise, Mitch. It won't happen again. And if it does happen again, it'll be very deliberate now. So now that I know that. Well, that's it. That's full time.
Thank you.
The episode's
Thank you,
over.
Steve and Rebecca, and for everything you do.
No, you're very, very welcome. We love it. And as I said, it's a hobby. A big thank you to you guys again for sharing and taking the time. Let me know in the comments who you want to be in the next episode. And as I always say, keep your tips smart, your banter sharp, and remember, it's all fun and games until the final whistle.
See you. Bye.